want to say something quickly. Some of us, when some of us are chosen, I just want to say this. When some of us are chosen, it's not anything that you'll see people do for the most part. Some people are chosen, and oftentimes when they're chosen, they actually are targeted. It's almost like they can't. It seems like stuff can't go right in their life, no matter how much they try. And they try to do what they've seen everybody else do. Because somebody, well, you gotta do this. It's like it's not happening. Things that no matter how hard you try, does not come together. The real chosen people, I think, are just chosen to destroy shit. And when I say destroy, it's not a bad word. I think some of the real people that's chosen. You're not just chosen to help yourself, because everybody is chosen to help their fucking self. Or you're chosen to rise up and do... Everybody's supposed to do that. And if they don't, they don't, right? Some people can't get any higher than a certain level because of whatever they are, right? That's why you got entities that want to keep pushing fear and all this stuff in your mind, and not just pushing fear on media. They doing stuff to fuck with you. They messing with your technology. They messing with your phones. They messing with your life. They messing with your bank accounts. They fuck with everything because they control technology and they control the fourth dimension. And where they control the third, whatever dimension that's in, because they're over the fourth dimension. They're in the fourth dimension. Let me just say they're mostly fourth dimensional. Let me say it like that. So they can control a lot what's supposedly in 3D. You know, so when people say they're chosen, I would caution being excited about saying that you're chosen. So most of the time when you're chosen, you go through fucking hell, and no matter how you do it, no matter how somebody else say, well, it's because of such and such and such and such, the shit just can't seem to get right. It seems like no matter how much you do, something is just not going to go right there. Because you're not just chosen to fucking help yourself, and it's not that you're chosen to help other people either. You might be chosen to tear some shit down. You might be chosen to tear some shit down. It's not about worrying about what somebody else doing with their fucking life, because they have to take accountability for themselves. So I'm not chosen to save the world. That's not what that is. Because people have to save themselves. They have to be accountable for themselves. That's just that. I ain't chosen to fucking save no world, but some people are fucking chosen to tear shit up, and nothing will go right in their life until they get into that fucking alignment. I don't care how much the fucking government want to threaten you, how much somebody want to threaten you. If motherfucker you chosen to tear shit down, you're going to have to get into that fucking order. You're going to have to get into that fucking order. And that just goes to show that you're more powerful than you think, but you got to work on yourself. That's why shit don't go right in your life, because maybe you're working on whoever is trying to, or whatever is trying to work on you getting stronger with your spiritual life so you can fuck shit up. So if things go comfortably in your life, you won't see a reason to do anything. You'll just be living your life comfortably. But this fucking shit is not supposed to last any longer. This stuff is not supposed to last any longer. And I know it's not, but some of us feel like, some people feel like, well, it is what it is. And some people get away with that and they have a good life because they're not chosen. Because I'm going to tell you, it don't matter how much work they fucking do. When they fucking chosen, they chosen. Now, I get some people say your soul make agreements or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you can get out of that or whatever. I definitely don't want to keep being no fucking targeted, I wouldn't want to be a targeted individual. But to be honest with you, a lot of people are whether they know it or not. A lot of people are whether they know it or not. It's just things affect them differently. Things affect them differently. But it's like to the point where, okay, I'm not going to just try to live a mediocre life like, okay, this is good right here. No. Because it might go good for a second, then it's going to be a time where it gets ugly. Yeah, so you're not just chosen to work on yourself and rise up and higher. And yeah, everybody, you're supposed to be held accountable for yourself, but everybody is held accountable for themselves. It's other people that's not necessarily chosen that's doing those things. It's people that's not necessarily chosen that's rising up and stuff like that. But they're just living their life. But at the same time, when people rise up, they actually do affect the world. When other people rise up, they do affect the world because it's really no such thing as an individual. People are connected. So if you go to a certain area where people are really, really working on themselves, and you have a mass of people, majority of the people in that area is really working on themselves, doing a lot of self-work, then you're going to have a high consciousness in that area. And then wherever you are, that can help you come up. Even when you're trying and it's hard and you get in those kind of areas, it can help you come up too. It can help some stuff to come out for you. Because now you're under a mass consciousness where a lot of people are doing the work and they're high in what you call vibration. Okay, because you're in an area where it's not so many people really doing self-work. They're just living their average life and doing whatever they're supposed to told to do. And then it's going to be the work that you pretty much have to, like I said, you're supposed to be held accountable anyway, but when you're in an area where the consciousness is not so high and just kind of go along with whatever and not really doing work on themselves, they really just what you call normal. They just really basically just what you call normal. Then it's like it's just, it's a little different in those kind of areas. Oh, and I want to say this, like, if somebody, like, spirit is telling them that thinking is evil and thoughts are evil and they shouldn't be thinking, it's a reason that they said that, and that message is for them. Because somebody said that in somebody's chat talking about thoughts. I don't know if they said thoughts are evil or how they said it, because I didn't read the chat, but the YouTube person that hosted the live, they repeated what was said in the chat. So I didn't get to read it for myself. I often don't read chats, live chats, when I'm trying to listen. But, yeah, but anyway, I think it was along these lines that the person in the chat said that thinking is evil. And then the YouTube host kind of, not necessarily attacked him, but almost like kind of read him, like they read him. You know how you read somebody for filth? But she wasn't like rude, nothing like that, but she just like, why would you say something like that? What would make you say something like that? But the way she said it is in the way to kind of make that person feel stupid about what they said. That was the body language and the way she said it. That's just kind of how it sounded. Okay, I think she cooled down like after she said it a couple of times, and then she just cooled down and she tried to be a little more humble about it and try to see where they were coming from. But at first she kind of had a very smart mouth, and the way she responded to them is like to call them an idiot. Basically, that's how she sounded, like she was calling them an idiot. You got to be careful, because just because somebody is very smart and just because somebody's very intuitive doesn't mean you tell them everything, because they don't know everything. They know a lot. But they don't know everything. And you got to be careful trying to get confirmation from people, just anybody. I'm not saying people like that. I don't have nothing against this person. I'm just saying people in general that do appear to really have a lot of knowledge. They seem to tap into higher levels of information. That's what I call a higher vibration. You're tapping into higher levels of information. Yeah. So I don't have anything negative to say, but you got to be careful, because they don't know everything. And the message that's coming to you from your own intuition or from whatever's giving you the message might not be the information that came to her. But sometimes people feel like they know close to everything. And so when you come to things with them with stuff like that, or if they even have a different opinion, maybe that type of stuff thoughts are evil, you never know where that person is headed to. You never know where that person is supposed to go to. Maybe the intuition or something else said that to that person, or that thought form came to that person for a reason, because of who that particular person really is. And the person who hosted the YouTube don't get those kind of messages because it's not for her to be concerned about. Maybe it's not for her to be concerned about. So those type of messages did not come to her. But that type of message came to that person because it is something that they need to work on. Why did it come to that person to say thoughts of evil? Why? Because that person might be targeted and don't know it. And when you are targeted, these people are able to know all of your thoughts. And then they use your thoughts against you. I mean, everybody thoughts aren't read. But some people when they're targeted like that, specifically your thoughts, you got to be careful thinking. Like, you literally got to be careful thinking. You really got to get out the fucking fourth dimension and move beyond the fourth dimension. Honestly. So that person said that for a reason, and it's because of something that could have been going on with them. They might be targeted and they don't know they're targeted. Something has invaded the mind, that particular mind of that person is attached to. The mind that person is attached to. Something probably has invaded it and is spying on every last one of their thoughts. I don't know who this person is, and they might not be doing nothing special, like in the physical type of life, but you never know what they are in the spiritual, but they have been spotted. And maybe something came to them saying thoughts of evil because something could have intruded their mind, the mind that they're attached to. I'm going to say it like that. The mind that they're attached to. And it could be spying on all of their thoughts. And even if this person doesn't talk a lot to anybody else, and this person like, well, how did they know that? I didn't say anything. Because they got like stuff, these plants and these things that they use to spy on you. I know from personal experience. I call thoughts evil too because I deal with shit. Thoughts, I call it evil too because thoughts don't belong to me and the mind don't belong to me. We're attached to the mind, we're attached to consciousness, but we are not, the real me is not consciousness. And now the controllers, the people who want to control consciousness, especially in 4D, who want to control consciousness, are doing very evil type of things. And maybe that's why that person, something came to that person saying thoughts are evil, because that person might not be talking to a lot of people, and they could be thinking things, they could be planning things, they could be a strategist, and they could be planning things, and they're probably very good at planning things and strategizing, and maybe some whatever powers that be. I don't like to give to people power though, but whoever it is able to spy on them and know all of their thoughts, and then by the time that person decided to take some action, because these other entities been spying on them and knowing all of their thoughts and they wasn't aware. It's hard to be successful now in your plans because you've been spied on this whole time. Okay? That does happen, I do know. Now it's a way you can stop them from knowing all of your thoughts too. There is stuff that I've heard people speak and say you can block them from hearing what you're saying and spying on you and doing all this remote viewing and all this stuff. You can block them from doing that stuff. Right? So, yeah, that's all I got to say too about that last part is that, some things you don't have to tell people. You just don't have to always say it out loud. Because you feel like, that person seems to be so knowledgeable and have so much information that they might understand where you're coming from when you say stuff like that. And then it turns out she didn't really get it. And at first, she was very arrogant. I think she calmed down, or like I said, I think after a couple of minutes or 1 minute of her kind of being a little arrogant, I think she calmed down and she tried to hear where that person was coming from. But at first, she really approached it like that person was stupid for saying that. Okay? You gotta be careful because that can kind of hurt your spirit. That can really kind of hurt. You gotta be careful. You gotta know where you are. You really need to know where you are before you say things. Because if you're trying to learn to trust your intuition and you're kind of fragile, you could have been through some things and you just getting out of it, you could still fragile, that person could have destroyed your spirit. because that person is kind of respected as being a person who's very knowledgeable. Okay? So anyway, that's it, and I'll talk later.